Well, back to one of our earlier stories as the world grapples with looming tariffs from the United States of America due to kick in on Friday, the 1st of August. The Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation is hosting a seminar to look at the current geopolitics. President Cyril Ramaphosa, special envoy in North America Mcebisi Jonas, will also be part of the proceedings. Let's take you live to that now.
In this chaos that you see here. And then, of course, lo and behold, a few years later, I was back at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. I was still with the National Union of Mine Workers, and we were there to register our first enterprise. We used 3 million seed capital out of the union's reserves to establish what we call the Mine Workers Investment Company. And we had bought a sportswear company which, had access to international sportswear. And we took over all the Tandabantu stores in the mining complexes across the length and breadth of the country, and grew the company which we called Matomo, the beginning. And today, as I speak to you, the Mine Workers Investment Company has 4.7 billion. The beginning of all of that was to separate the union from the investment company, that the union should continue to live and operate as a union and not to survive on injections coming out of the investment wing. And so the investment wing, the members benefit only in the form of bursaries for mine workers, current mine workers, ex-mine workers, and their dependents. So I was pleasantly surprised that all this now is digitized. The trading, there are no crowds here trading at the same time, which means that as we heard from our panelists, that we must pay attention to digital skills for the young people, the younger generation, so that they can design solutions to our complex problems. As we heard, we have many difficulties all at once. And young people can, armed with the correct digital skills, can design solutions, practical and workable solutions to these problems that are burdening us at this point in time. And so when I was young, exactly 20 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, our teacher was still teaching us that the atom is indestructible. 20 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so our digital skills must be up to date. They must be up to date so that these young ones can lift us from where we are to a higher trajectory and enable us to leapfrog into the modern economics and social organization, as it were, because as Nick was saying, Professor Binedal was saying to us, that he goes to the East Asia for inspiration, and he went to the Philippines. Me and him tend to, create the beaten track to the same areas, because the Marcos family and the Aquino family in families or dynasties, if you like, in the Philippines have been dominating that society for many, many decades and generations. What I found inspiring about the Philippines, I also found in Vietnam. Same inspiration. Vietnam was involved in wars against the French, against the Japanese, against the Chinese, against the Americans. But when they emerged from those wars, they never adopted a posture of victims. Literally every family, home, trades in something. The ground level, they are traders in whatever, and the family sleeps on top. And each family has a rice paddy with one water buffalo. And today Vietnam is the third largest exporter of rice in the world. And how do we, as South Africans, we're grappling with how to find our national interests, common national interests. But how do we also deal with the national psyche and lift ourselves from, or liberate ourselves from the pathology of victimhood? Because victims never win. Victims never win. So if there's any takeaway for me, is how do we also address the national psyche and turn it into a positive attitude? Because, as we heard in sport, we do well, we celebrate, and we get united. The Springboks win the World Cup, and we are united, and so on. How do we sustain that? How do we sustain that across all facets of life, as it were? When I was in government, in 2010, we were hosting the FIFA World Cup, and government systems were streamlined at that time to ensure that we dealt with crime. So there were special courts and so on. During that period, if you were a rowdy spectator and you caused one problem or the other, you would be apprehended within 3 days, tried within a week, and sentenced. And in government, we had, clear systems of implementation. And we kept on asking ourselves, how are we going to be able to sustain this? Because it was working. It worked. Where there was need for a new stadium to be constructed, it would be done within budget and the set timeline. But today, we take forever. There's no implementation and so on. So that's what I think we need to improve upon, to reintroduce methods that work and are effective, and do away with, lackadaisical attitudes. I remember a few years ago, I was in conversation with one of the ambassadors. I don't know, I won't say from which country. And the ambassador was saying to me, you know, your public services dysfunctional. And I said, no, it's not true. And he says, look, you have these public employees who live in the south and work in Pretoria. So in the morning, they want to be in the office ahead of everyone else because they must beat traffic. In the evening, afternoon, they leave before traffic, so they must beat traffic going home. And so he says to me, where is the teamwork in all of this? Because it's their own interest above the interests of the team. So these are some of the things that we need to get right, I think, in the state, because the state, in a sense, leads all of us. We may not be there, you know, in person, and it leads all of us. Because if our state is not pulling through, all the efforts would be, you know, nibbling away from the problems, but never ever overcoming them. So we need a focused state, efficient state. Then the inputs from all sections of society will be funneled in one direction through the state and make us a winning nation. But colleagues, mine was really not to make any remarks, but to thank you for taking the time and for your wonderful inputs, and that we hope that like good you know, organizers, we will be able to share the message and organize those around us wherever we go. Thank you very much.
All right, live visuals there from Sandton. This is, of course, at the premises of the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation. The foundation hosting a seminar looking at current geopolitical developments. This is, of course, at a time when, among others, the world is grappling with looming tariffs from the United States of America come August the 1st.